Hey, this is episode 4 of Inside Joseph Campbell. We're going to keep going through Hero of a Thousand Faces. Today we're going to be doing the World Navel. So we're going to split that into 3 parts. We're going to do talk about mind, body, and soul. What is the World Navel? And culture and mythology and how those things interact with each other. Great. So as per usual, let's get right into it. Okay, so the point of going on an adventure is that it changes your life afterwards. Because if you go on an adventure and your day-to-day life doesn't change, then it wasn't worth the trouble of going on the adventure in the first place. Now, adventures fall into 3 different categories. There's the physical, the dynamic, and the spiritual. And you can kind of reframe those, if you like, to make it slightly simpler, as body, mind, and soul. Now, these categories can sort of flow in and out of each other when it comes to going on an adventure. And I get that that's really abstract as a concept, but let me put it in the context so it makes it easier to understand. So you've got someone who, let's say, someone who's trying to lose 100 pounds in weight. They're very overweight and they're trying to lose 100 pounds. The physical aspect of the journey is them physically losing the weight. But in order for that journey to happen, they need to learn a bunch of things. They need to learn about how and why the body stores fat, strategies for losing it. You got to learn all this stuff about diet. You got to learn all this stuff about exercise. So you have to train the mind in order to train the body. You do all these things, and as you go through, you hit these struggles. You hit these low points. You hit these high points. You do things that you never thought you could, and that kind of enriches and changes who you are on a much deeper level, on a much more spiritual level, where you can do things that you never thought you could before. And then as you reach the goal, these things kind of culminate all together, and you realize yes, you change the physical, but you change the mental and you change the spiritual in order to get there. Now, when any of your mind, your body, or your soul breaks or fails you, that is the opportunity for death to come in and kill off that part of you, for you to go on the adventure, for you to kill off that part of you that's broken, that doesn't work anymore, that's no longer useful, and to allow it to be reborn as something improved or better or fit for purpose, however it suits you. What is the World Navel? So it's the spot of continuous creation that plugs into all things. It's where the hero stands and briefly becomes a god, and that's where change is manifested within them. So it can be considered a physical place. Let's say you have the earthly plane and you have the divine plane, and where those 2 things meet is the World Navel. It's where heavenly things come down and become earthly things. Let me give you an example of something physical just to try and understand that concept. It's like the sun's rays coming down to earth, hitting the ground, and then food growing out of the ground as a result. It's this thing that comes from the heavens. It comes down and it produces something earthly that nourishes us and breathes life into the world. So you can think of it as, now, divine energy comes down and breathes life into the world. Now, the World Navel is also an invisible place where death exists, but simultaneously is the place where the human life force comes from. It's a place where you can find all the creativity you need to move your life forward, while simultaneously finding the roots of all that all the way back to existence. It's the source of everything that has ever been, that is right now, and will ever be. Now, cultures build mythology into every aspect of our lives, and because of that, they fill our lives with all of these different symbolic suggestions. Now, cultures do that to help us to fit into what the culture needs us to be in order for it to survive and keep going. And if you change the mythology of a culture, then the culture will change. And as a result of the change in that culture, it will generate a different mythology to fit this new culture. And it's this cyclical thing that goes round and round and round. Now, the point at which a hero might learn their lesson, or like find the divinity within, however you want to phrase it, that place will usually be marked as somewhere special or holy, with like a shrine or a temple, something like that. And the point of having temples or shrines, having these places marked out, is to re-invoke and relearn the lesson that the hero learned at that point. So you can think of it like religious pilgrimages happen a lot. Like, so you can have like Muslims that go to Mecca to develop a greater appreciation for the lessons there, or Christians that go to Lourdes or the Vatican. And those places exist to help us develop a greater appreciation for those stories. A non-religious example would be like, if anyone's out there's a history buff and you know a lot of stuff about, like, say, Second World War or First World War, and you go to Europe and you see the sites of like the D-Day landing beaches and like the old RAF air hangars and all this kind of stuff. When you go there, you kind of feel the difference. You can feel an energy there that matches the knowledge in your head, and you develop a greater appreciation for the lessons of that. And those places can exist anywhere that a hero might be able to learn something. So what does it all mean? The World Navel could be anywhere and everywhere. It's the source of all existence. And so because it's that, it carries in it both good and evil. Which means that heroes aren't necessarily always the best people. But what it will do is, as long as they go on the journey, it will force them to gain some virtues in order for them to get over their ego and get to the place of transcendence, get to the World Navel, so that they can change. And the place of transcendence is where the gods and humans meet. And that place exists in all of us. Everyone can be a hero if you're willing to bow to the power of change. Let me put it simply. Change never changes. Change is a constant in our lives. From when we're little, we grow, and as we grow, things change. And it's as true as anything else. From moment to moment, you have the potential to never be the same ever again. And what stories are trying to do is just represent that sentiment. So you made it to the end. Thanks very much. If you enjoyed that, please like and subscribe below. Next week we're going to be talking about the call to adventure, and I'm going to start going through all these steps of the hero's journey that was outlined in episode 3. Thanks very much, and I'll see you next week. Peace.